Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I am Mohammed Al Qureshi. Today we're going to be discussing a new series that I'm launching based on key performance indicators. This is a topic which comes up in many different training sessions that I've given in the past. And today, my chapter one actually is KPIs for training sessions conducted in Saudi Arabia. I have done many different sort of training sessions in many different sort of entities, institutions, educational, in the educational sector, in the academic sector, I have since I've gone through all of these different institutions, I have managed to accumulate a couple of key performance indicators used in different academies. But today we're going to discuss the best of the indicators that I've come across in my training career. So I've made it into a checklist, and I've added some points from global best practices within the training arena. The first topic that's on our checklist is the training ROI, return on investment on any training done by any institution, low in the educational sector, in the academic sector. I'm not sure if every training manager, if every training institutions actually calculates a return on investments in terms of the candidate themselves, in terms of the customers who are bringing the candidates to the educational institution. Training ROIs are a must have on the checklist. Number two is employee engagement, which is a candidate engagement. Another important aspect of training. A lot of trainings usually trainers or candidates don't get involved and engage themselves in the topics that they are discussing, which is a very important aspect of any training. Skill retention, that's a cornerstone of any training. Skill retention plays a very important role, and we'll discuss it in our next slide, how can skill retention be calculated? How can it be done? Does it matter what steps to take to calculate the skill retention and whatnot? Attendance rate, that's another simple one. 40 or 35 or 30 candidates are going to be attending the training session. Their attendance rate gives a very good indication in terms of a success of a training. Okay, time to completion is another one. I can give you a small example in terms of time of completion. My this video that we are watching, the maximum I can make it for now is 15 minutes. So I have to get all the information across to my audience in terms of time. I can maximum use it up to 15 minutes in terms of the content that I can put on a presentation. Average time to completion, another important one, a very simple one. This goes back to the trainer itself and the candidates, how quickly, how simplified the content is to grab or grasp in terms of a candidate. Job performance impact, that's a very important one. We all go to training to learn new capabilities, to learn new aspects to our jobs, to think outside the box. And we are bringing those capabilities back to our jobs to make sure that it will have a positive impact on our jobs. Learners progress is another one. It's a very important one in terms of how much progression a learner, a candidate, a new employee attending a training has progressed in terms of their job capabilities. Learner satisfaction in a training, that is key to understand to make sure that you have a successful training program. Training experience satisfaction, again, the environment of the training in the training arena, that the auditorium, the classroom, work environment is another important aspect that needs to have an impact or does have an impact on any kind of training that is being conducted. And this is a part of global best practices, that the environment provided for the training individual is the correct one, and a candidate which is attending a course goes through different satisfaction in terms of attending a course, attending capability increasing training. Post training assumptions, post training assessment results are, again, if you're working in a training environment, if you're going to be conducting, if you are a manager of a training program, it is very important to keep an eye on the assessment results. And at the end of the day, don't forget that these results are going to be shared with the department heads, the higher management. Per cost employee of a training, that is another important aspect. Training has to be affordable in terms of the candidate themselves, affordable in terms of the customer who's bringing the candidate, affordable in terms of the institution giving the training itself, in terms of trainers cost, training paraphernalia, and whatnot. Pass and fail rate, of course, how well the training went. There has to be some sort of an evaluation method that incorporated into the training, which gives an idea of whether an individual or candidate attending the class, attending the training, has gone off and actually done well within the training arena, or the training content that he has experienced. Assessment scores, again, a way of evaluating a training, evaluating a trainer, evaluating the environment. It has to be assessed. There has to be some sort of a benchmark. The data have to be collected and stored in terms of comparability with other training programs, which may be conducted later on. Compliance percentage is, this is a very important aspect of training. When we talk about compliance, compliance comes down to the requirements of the client, requirements of the candidate, requirement of the educational sector, employee retention. This is very important when it comes down to trainings for employees, which are regular trainings. It could be within an industry where the standards continuously change, and if it's in an industry where the standards continuously change, is it how much the information given to the employee makes the candidate come back to another fresh training, for example. So this is a data science question, by the way. There are many ways of understanding how to calculate the actual retention of an employee. Improved training effectiveness. Again, once the data is collected from various different trainings, you have to formulate a benchmark which will allow you to compare your existing training or future training and come back to have a standard that you have calculated, and that standard eventually can be compared to global best practices and whatnot. Learner engagement. That is one of the most important, personally, uh, in terms of how well the engagement of a candidate within a training session. Both the trainer and the trainee has to be incorporated into the training program and have to be in an environment which actually sets forth a, a, a method, sets forth an environment which is safe for people to speak, candidates to ask questions. And as they say in training, the silliest questions are the most important questions. Trainee retention rate, again, data science question, very important question. It goes back to the employee retention, how well the employee, what training the employees are getting, how well do they come back to another training, how well is the training conducted, what's the environment and whatnot. And last bit is the productivity rate. This productivity rate is one of the most important ones, as well as a candidate attends the training. Okay, he accumulates information. It could be a lot of information to incorporate into one's usual or everyday life. But the question is, how much did the training actually help the employee be more productive, be better in performance in his own KPIs, and of course, if he's better performing employee, better for the institution that they work with. Now, these KPIs, I think, are a bare minimum when it comes to looking at a training session. And this obviously it plays a very vital role when it comes down to sectors like educational sectors, sectors like training sectors, and academics, academies, and whatnot. From my experience, I've been to basically almost every sort of sector in terms of education. I've been involved in educational sector. I've been involved in academies. I've been involved in private session training sessions. I think on an average basis, in a report, it is unbelievably important and plays a very vital role that these 20 KPIs that I've mentioned come into some sort of incorporating into a report. Now, once you have made that report, obviously, you want to have a checklist. Now, there are different ways we just looked at 20 KPIs, which are supposed to be in a checklist for any training, right? So, how do I accumulate the data from this checklist that it comes back? There are plenty of applications, honestly speaking, off the shelf applications, which are available in the market today. There are plenty of HR or training departments which have the budget to actually create an application, which would help them incorporate everything back into their daily life and accumulate data. And of course, if you want to do it yourself, start from scratch, then there is, of course, the Kirkpatrick's evaluation method, which involves 4 levels, where you have to measure the candidate's reaction to the training, you have to measure the candidate's learning capability from the content and the trainer himself. You have to look at the how the training and the content and the environment, how has it played to change the behavior of the candidate. And the last part is to be able to have to a benchmark where you can compare all the results. All of this will allow you to incorporate into a very important, very concise report, which can later on be given to the higher management or department of the government. Thank you for joining me today in this session. Please don't forget to subscribe. And this is just the first chapter in our KPI series. I will try to incorporate other topics as well. Thank you for attending. See you soon.